So I've been thinking about another story of travel. What's really amazing to me is that a lot of my people's stories make reference to people traveling like from earthly to the heavens, to the spiritual realm. And this story is a story that Mrs. Angela Sidney, Auntie Angela, shared with me. And it's about the Sun Chief. So I'd like to share that story in her honor today. She was one of my chief mentors, such a loving person. She came out to, in fact, she inspired the Yukon International Storytelling Festival. She came down to Toronto. She said when she got back, we must do this here as well and record as many stories, old stories, as we can. So I want to thank her for that. So this story, I often share this with young couples. And at the end of the story, you'll realize the journey and recognize many of the teachings of this story. So with that, I just want to ask Auntie Angela for her help and be with us on our journey. Years ago, she said, there was a man. He fell in love with one of the women from the community, small group of people. He fell in love with her, and he didn't realize before they got married, I guess, is that she was very jealous. Oh, extremely jealous woman. Even jealous of his own sister and in time that he spent with his mother. She was just, she had this disease of jealousy. And he would always tell her, but I love you, he told her. I'm not interested in any other person here in this community. I just love you, that's why I married you. He tried to, get her out of this sickness. It's a sickness. Well, I guess, she just continued to talk bad towards him, and she'd say, yeah, I know you want to marry Sun Chief daughter. She got no dirt around her. He just looked at her with sadness, but still he stayed with her until he couldn't take it anymore. One day, he just felt that he just could no longer live with her, and he ran away. He ran into this large meadow, and as he was running, he was crying. He was sad that his woman, his partner, did not trust him. I think that hurt him even more. And when you're sad, when you're grieving, your body gets weak. And as he was running in this meadow, he fell to the ground. And falling to the ground, he lay there for a while, weeping. And when he was laying on the ground, he thought he was starting to hear things. He heard an old woman's voice. Hey, grandson, what's wrong with you? Grandson, come see me. And he could hear this little voice on the ground. He looked, and here there's a little hole there, a small little hole. He looked at it, and all of a sudden his body got small, and he went into that little hole. And here's a little old lady. She's sitting there. Hey, grandson, what's wrong? She said. I see and I hear you crying. Tell me what's wrong. She's got a little handkerchief. She's smoking pipe too in her little house there. And he told her the sad story about his jealous wife. She said, yeah, that's not good, but you know what? You deserve to marry the Sun Chief daughter. I think you should marry the Sun Chief daughter. What'd she say? You deserve it. You remember last spring? Your brothers were fishing down at the creek after the ice broke up. There's still ice on the shore of the little creek. You remember that time? He wasn't sure. Yeah. She said, one of your brothers, he saw a little mouse there and he kicked that little mouse into the water. And that little mouse swam to shore. And no sooner than that little mouse got on the shore, he kicked that little mouse back into the water. And you saw him do that. And you went over there and you grabbed a little mouse. And you took that little mouse way up on the beach and let the little mouse go in the woods. Grandson, that's me, she said. That's me, you saved my life. So I'm going to help you. I want you to marry Sun Chief daughter. But look at you, she said. You need to sleep, grandson. When you got heavy heart, when you're grieving, when you can't stop crying, sleep is good for you. Here, lay down here. I'm gonna cook for you, she said. Of course, he's thinking in his larger mind. She's got little tiny baskets like that full of berries. Little small baskets like that full of dried fish. And he was thinking, wow, that's not gonna fill my belly. But he lay down and he slept so peacefully. And when he awoke, he smelled fish cooking. He smelled the berries. Ah, she said, you have a good sleep? He said, yeah. Come eat, she said. So she fed him that fish, some berries. He felt so satisfied. And after they ate together, she loaded up her pipe. She smoked her pipe. Grandson, I'm going to give you some things when you go up there to Sun World to get your new wife. Going to need some stuff to get there. Here she pulled out this willow. You see this willow? You could push it out. It grows like this. You push it right up to Sun World. You're going to climb on it. Now, I'm going to give you, see these two little jackets here? Bird jacket, she said. This one here is made from Camp Robber feather. It's a pretty one. White feather, little bit brown one, black one. But this one, more beautiful, she said. This one is made out of hummingbird feather. See how beautiful? You're gonna use these jackets up there. And I'm gonna give you flint. Little piece of flint. You put it around here in this little pouch, she said. You're gonna need that one. And in this other pouch I give you, it's a birch bark pouch. It's got a little moss inside. Inside there is a little piece of ice. You're going to use that one too, she said. So, grandson, you're going to push that willow up to Sun World. When you get up there, you're going to hear girls laughing. Got some two sisters up there. They're on a big swing up there in the sky. That swing, you swing back and forth like that. Boom. Just like a bell. Boom. When it makes that noise, that Sun Chief's guard, he knows where those girls are. You know, Sun Chief, he's very fussy. He don't want his daughters to marry just anybody. Him and his wife, they protect those girls. They even got that guard. So when you hear that laughter up there, you go towards it, she said. Them girls, they might not notice you right away. But you put on the first little jacket, you put on that little J, camp robber jacket, and fly around in front. See what they do. And if they don't like it, you put on the other hummingbird jacket. Okay? Say, okay. Do that. You're going to use that flint. You're going to need that one, she said. You're going to use that ice too. You're going to need that. So these things I'm going to give you. He thanked her for them. And he went out of her little dwelling there, her little house. He felt good. He felt strong. So he took the willow and he stretched it. He stretched it right up there. He climbed up. I don't know how long. Auntie said, I don't know how many days maybe he'd take to get there, but anyway, he got up there, she said. And just like the little mouse woman, old grandma tell him, he heard girls laughing. That's them sisters. Boom. Big swing. Big swing in the sky. So he went there, he dig around his little pack, he pulled out the little jacket, he put it on. Here he turned into that little camp robber. He fly around in front of them. And that one sister said, get out of the way. She pushed that bird. They don't really care for that bird, so he knew. So he went back around there again. He pulled out the little hummingbird jacket. Oh, so fancy, beautiful, small little feathers, colored feathers. So he put on that little jacket. Put on the little jacket, and he fly around in front of those sisters. Oh boy, they said, what kind of bird is that? What kind of bird? They're just looking at it like that, and then one sister, she grabbed it. Oh, how beautiful. She pet that little bird like that. Of course, it's that guy, right? And he really liked that. He liked the fact that the sister is petting him. Pet like that. Pretty soon the other sister said, I want that bird. Give me that bird. And that other sister said, well, what you got to trade for it? Talking to her younger sister. She said, I'll give you my copper bracelet. She said, I got copper bracelet already. After all, I am also the Sun Chief's daughter. How about my silver bracelet, she said. No, I got lots of those, she said. What else you got to trade? She's holding a little bird. How about dentalium shell? Ah, I don't have one of those, she said. So her sister gave her that dentalium shell bracelet. They traded. So she had the little bird. Meanwhile, that guard, he always listened for the sound of that swing. That's how he knows where those sisters are. He didn't hear the sound. He ran over there. He said, what are you girls doing? They said, oh, nothing. We just got this little bird. Well, you fellas better come for supper. Your mother made nice dinner for you, so you should come and eat. Okay, that's it. So they went over to their little sleeping quarters and they put that little bird down there. They ate really quickly, and then they came back because they want to play with that little bird. He's flying around and they're just enjoying him. Well, you know how it is, eh? Young people, they get together, they stay together overnight, they don't sleep. Talk, they played with that little bird. Here they kept that Sun Chief awake all night. Oh man, he's cranky. In the morning, he told that guard, you go down, get them girls, get them up. They keep me awake all night. Talk, laugh, I don't know what's going on over there. So the guard went over to their sleeping quarters and he opened up that little door a little bit. There's man sleeping between those two sisters. Hi! I guess in the middle of the night that he got too warm, eh? So he took off his jacket and he turned into man. And that guard hollered at them. And both of those sisters said, where'd this guy come from? That guard walked back over to his boss's place where he's preparing breakfast. Son Chief, he said, got bad news. There's a man there with your daughters. What? You tell that man come right here, right now. He's gonna have breakfast with us before he die. Oh my goodness, those girls were just so upset. They didn't know what to do. They came there and after breakfast, the Sun Chief told that guy, get on a swing. Please, Dad. No, don't put him on a... You be quiet. This is your fault. This is your doings, he said. Because when a human gets on that big swing, that swing will come like this and a big rock face will kill the guy. So the girls know that, eh? So the swing started moving with that guy on the swing. It's moving like this, moving. Hear that guy pull out his little flint, eh? And he stopped the swing. Got off. He went back over to that little camp. That Sun Chief said, you got quite a big power, huh? And those two girls were just relieved. He said, I want you to go down to the river there. You get some water for me. And that young man is thinking, well, he might be my future father-in-law. I better listen to him, eh? So he got the buckets. He went down there to get him some water. Walked down there. Two giant eagles there just start fighting him and wrestling him down. And again, he pulled that flint out. And he killed those two giant eagles. Wow. The Sun Chief was pretty impressed. When he got back, oh, pretty good, he said. Well, he said, put the water in a big pot, that big copper kettle, he said. Put the water in there, start fire, he said. I want you to boil that water for me. So that young man did that. He said, put the lid on. So he put the lid on top of it so it could boil quicker. There he could see the steam coming out. And that Sun Chief said, check the water, see if it boiled yet. So he checked the water. And when he went over, he lifted the lid. The Sun Chief pushed him right, he pushed him right in that big pot. Well, that guy fought really fast, eh? He put on that little hummingbird jacket. He got really small. There's a little indentation on top of the lid. He took that ice, he hold the ice to his body till that water stopped boiling. Steam went down, started to cool off. And he took off that jacket, he jumped out. Sun Chief said to him, which one of my daughter you marry? And of course the older one said, not me. My sister, my younger sister, we trade bracelets, she said, see? So those two got married. And that father took that young daughter aside. He said, my girl, you know human, when their parents get old, they want to be with them. You know your parents take care of you when you were helpless. You can't take care of yourself, so this is why they're going to want to go back to Earth. Now you see this feather? When you go back to Earth, he's going to ask you one day, you have every day he's going to get water for you, fresh water. I want you to check that water. I don't want him to talk to his other wife, that jealous one. And if you put the feather in the water and it comes out wet, that means he spoke to her. Don't tell him about this. She said, okay, Father, I won't tell him. So they lived there peacefully. And one day, just as that Sun Chief had told that young girl, that young man came to her and said, I have to go back to Earth. My parents are getting old and I have to take care of them. She said, oh, okay, let's go see my father. So she went to see the Sun Chief with her husband, and they explained, and the Sun Chief known. Okay, he said, I'm gonna give you your willow back so you can go down, you too. You pack up all your stuff so you can go down. And he reached in his pocket. He pulled out a little canoe, little carved canoe like this. He gave it to his son-in-law. When you get there, he said, you throw that in the water, it's gonna grow. So that's what they did. Down, down, down they came. Down that willow with their pack on. Here they land not too far from his parents' camp there. And he told his wife, you wait here with our stuff in the boat. He said, you know, my people, when new company is coming in, they always want to put on their good clothes. So I want them to be prepared to welcome you. So I'm going to go up ahead. She said, all right. So she waited there. So when he went into the camp, here his parents were there. They were so glad to see him. They don't know what happened to him. And he said, I married Sun Chief daughter. Oh, they were so pleased, so honored. And he told his two brothers, go down and bring my stuff, he said. Bring all my gear up and bring my wife. All right, they said. So they went down there to the shore. They see all his gear there. Canoe is up on a beach. They don't see no woman. Just a ray of light there. So they went back up and their brother said, where's my wife? We don't see her anywhere. We just see a ray of light. That's her, he said. She's Sun Chief daughter. So he went and he brought her into the community. And the longer she stayed, she became more human-like. She had a human form. Of course, old jealous wife, she knows everything, eh? You know, gossip go around. And she saw that man every day. She watched his habits. He'd go down and get water for her. And when he brings the water back to his beloved wife, she'd check it with a feather. Every day it come out dry. And this one time, the old jealous woman, she hide in the bushes. And when he came down here, she jumped on. Yeah, I told you you're gonna marry Sun Chief daughter. Hey, he said, go away from me. And he took the water back to his wife. She took the feather, she checked it, it came out wet. Oh, she felt bad. Did you speak to your other wife today? He said, well, not really. I told her to get away from me. But you spoke to her? He said, yes. She went back to Sky World, to the Sun World. Oh boy, her father's very, very upset. What time is the hottest time down there on Earth? She said around when the sun is right in the middle of the sky. Noon time, she said. And that Sun Chief was so mad, he just poured his vengeance out on Earth and he started a big forest fire. Everywhere was burning up. And that man, what he did is he gathered all the best dry meat makers. He gathered all the good hunters. He gathered all those people who did things to the finest. He took them down beside the riverbank where it hangs over like this, and there's a lot of cold earth there. Sometimes in the middle of summer, ice is still there. And he pushed all those people in there. And he took that little ice that the old woman had given him, and he plugged it. And they waited till the fire burned over. He felt really bad. Years went by. He always wanted to, get the forgiveness of his father-in-law and let him know the truth. So one day he took that little willow And he went back up. He called out to Sun Chief. Sun Chief, hey, what are you doing here? He said, I came to tell you the truth. And I came to bring my wife back to Earth. And he explained things to his father-in-law. And his father-in-law allowed him to go back down. And now they say you look around in a big crowd and you're going to see people, they have light around them. You'll look around, you'll see people who, no matter what is happening in the world, they always have a good disposition. And these are the descendants of that couple. And that's the story.